crazy mission to make myself a color scientist for some reason. So I've got a little bit of that to share with you today, so I'm pretty excited.
Well, you just introduced yourself, so I'm going to sit down.
Cool.
And then everyone can applaud, and then you can get started.
All right, well, first thing, I couldn't have been set up any better. That was perfect. Got you guys thinking about color. So this talk is about RGB color. It's called Chapter 4 Spark Notes, because it's not really the beginning, and it's not really the whole story, but it's a really interesting part, and I'm just going to kind of drop you in the middle of something that you're not going to see very many other places if you read about color, and hopefully tickle your mind a little bit and give you something to go look into further. So wait, I have a clicker. I can do this. Yeah, so I just hope you come away with this with a little bit of a intuition for how RGB colors fit into a bigger picture, which is the human visual system. So we need to talk just really quickly about the geometry of RGB color. You sort of already heard that there's 3 values. They usually range between 0 and 255. Sometimes they range between 0 and 1 in their floats. It's the same thing. Each value is called a primary. So R, G, and B are primaries, and they actually tie to like a pretty physical abstraction. The abstraction is lights on a wall. So if I had 3 lights and I shine them all on a wall and they're sort of reddish, bluish, and greenish, you'll get a white. And if I shine a red light and a blue light on the wall, I get this magenta. And that's the same thing as saying R primary 1, or R is 1, G is 0, and B is 1. This is a model that models real lights on a wall. So this ties to something very physical. It also has an interesting geometry. So maybe you've seen this before, but like this very common it's very common to represent this as a cube. So you say, okay, each of the RGB primaries are a dimension in 3-dimensional space. If you fill up all those 16 million values we heard about earlier, these are all the possible colors, and it makes this nice cube. If we take just a slightly closer look at that without all the sides filled in, just look at the edges, you can kind of see there's some more interesting geometry in the middle. The line from black to white is like all the possible grays, so right in the middle would be like 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Up here in the corner, cyan, you can see it's 0, 1, 1, and white is 1, 1, 1. So that's red, green, blue, all mixed together. So there's actually sort of a different way to think about this, which is like if you treat each dimension as this arrow, and then you sort of add the arrows together, the resulting color is the new arrow that points to it. So if you've taken a lot of math in college, you might recognize that this is basically vector addition. So each primary represents a vector in its dimension, and you can kind of see this cool 3D thing here. If you add all 3 of those arrows together, you sort of get this other arrow that points out towards white. That's the vector that you get by adding R, G, and B when they're at full length. And so if you don't turn on the green primary, if you didn't turn on the green light, the vectors would just add to this space. So we've got a nice mathematical operation that's again describing a real physical thing you can do with lights. But I haven't really told you what R, G, and B are yet. I've just said reddish, greenish, and bluish lights. So keep that in mind. It's basically vector addition. I talked about that. So this whole thing seems suspiciously tidy. Like, does the real world, does vision really fit into this perfect cube? Is it all, the universe just worked out that way? And the answer is not really. So enter trichromaticity. We heard about this earlier. Let's talk a little bit about this. Inside the eye, there are 3 cells there's these cells called cones, and they come in 3 types. Each type is sensitive to sort of a different part of light. So at the bottom here, the x-axis is the wavelength of various parts of light, so 400 nanometers to 750 nanometers. This is sort of the range of light that we can see at all. And then you can see the 3 different curves here are the sensitivity of the 3 different types of cones. From the left to the right, they're called short, medium, and long cones, because this is the 400 nanometer, it's shorter than 700 nanometer. So you've got these 3 cells, and any light that hits your eye basically stimulates all of the cells, but it's depending on the power and the different parts of the spectrum, it's going to stimulate the cells differently, more or less. So if you have a lot of energy in the blue part of the spectrum down here, it's going to stimulate this cone more than these 2. And so I think I've got a diagram of that right here. So this is the spectrum of light falling on a spinach leaf. It has a lot of energy coming off it in the 500 range, so it stimulates the red and green cones quite a bit, not so much the blue. And so basically your eye takes this very complex spectrum coming off the spinach leaf, the black line, and it converts it down into this 3-dimensional representation, these 3 numbers. So if you integrated this line against these 3 cones, the blue value wouldn't be quite as big, the medium green value would be a little bigger, but it's covering the red cone the most, so that's the highest value. So all light has to sort of be smashed down through the system in the retina before it gets passed on to the brain to do more interesting things with. So if we're building a color space about this, you might think, well, there's three things here. There's these three cones, long, short, medium, long, usually called long, medium, short if you go right to left. You could assign each one of them, again, a dimension of 3D space, and you'd be like, well, hey, we've got a cool cube. Every possible value that could come out of these three cones could be represented just like the RGB color space. But we've got a big problem. The cones overlap. They don't all represent their own unique part of the color space, which sort of puts a little quirk in things, because this point in the RGB cube represents when green is stimulated by itself. It's green 1, red 0, blue 0. But if you notice here, you could never stimulate just the green cone because it overlaps completely either with the red or the blue. So no light hitting your eye ever is just green by itself. It's always green in some red or green in some blue. Which means if you want to make a cube and a color space out of these cones, it's not going to be completely filled in. It's going to be this weird shape in the middle. And it's really cool, and I've graphed it for you. Wait, next slide. Okay, so this square, usually there's some lines here, with the projector you can't really see it, but this is like a cube, and this, oh, the top, yeah. So this cube represents sort of the ideal LMS cube. It's all each dimension is one of the cones. And then this crazy waffle cone in the middle is all the values that can actually occur in real life. And so this is like the surface, the boundary of all the possible values that your cones could ever realistically be stimulated by. And I haven't filled in the middle, but you could kind of imagine like holding a waffle cone and something you could like put a scoop of something inside of there. Everything inside of this boundary is a real value that the eye could really sense, and everything outside of it could never happen. So you kind of notice it doesn't get anywhere close to this corner of the cube, and that's because this would be the green corner. So if you could stimulate the green by itself, this sort of object would come all the way over here, but it doesn't. And so it sort of just stays in this little circle, and it's kind of interesting that the blue almost does come up to the corner, and that's because the blue, you can almost stimulate it by itself. It hardly overlaps with green here, so you can almost get a blue-only signal, which is why that part comes up and this part doesn't, which is sort of the most interesting part of this talk. So, okay, this is all really cool. This is great, but this RGB cube from earlier is very useful, and we kind of want an RGB cube still. So we're kind of like, how can we make an RGB cube out of this? And the answer is we kind of just decided maybe we'll just like chop a cube out of the center of that cone and forget about the rest of the colors and just roll with the cube. So what does that look like? So what we did is we picked 3 reddish, greenish, and bluish points that are technically inside the waffle cone. So they represent real values that the eye could really have, and they're sort of spaced out. It's 3D, so it's a little hard to tell. And we said, okay, the line between the origin and one of those points, those are going to be the new dimensions of our cube. And they're not like 90 degrees from each other, so they're not like a real cube, but we can still do all the same math. So you can kind of see here, if you added these vectors together in this space, you'd get like the white one, and if you made them a little smaller so that they weren't like the lights weren't fully on, you'd get like this orange color. And so we can do all the same math that we want to do with this RGB cube, and here's them kind of together. These are the real primaries of sRGB color space on the web. This is how they fit in the real sort of physiological color space of your eye. And this is how you know what RG and B are. So if you're like, okay, it's RGB, but what is R? Well, if you go look it up, you can be like, R is a light that stimulates your retina with this coordinate value. And you can pick any light you want, as long as you've got that one that stimulates the eye in that way. You can use it and shine it on the wall, and you can do real sRGB math on the wall with those lights, if you get the right lights. And since this forms a cube, like we talked about earlier, these 3 dimensions form this nice cube, it's kind of cool, is this actually forms not a cube, but this like sort of smashed cube. It's like I think it's called a parallel piped or something, but it's still got 4 corners, but it's not even, so it's this like weird cube thing. And it's kind of cool because it's nestled inside this cone. So it contains most of the color values that are possible with the retina, but not the ones like right at the edge of the boundary. You can still like stick your hand under there. And So we picked these primaries, and they're this is the primaries over here, and this cube is just if you turn those into axes and turn it into like a 3D object, I guess it's not a cube, you get that. And so basically, once you've got this is sort of really what sRGB color space looks like. I guess this is the better picture because it's nestled inside here. Later, you just do a little bit of linear algebra and you squish it back into a uniform cube so that you get these nice even dimensions, and you're like, okay, that's sRGB color space. And I guess the takeaway here is that sRGB color space covers a lot, but not all of the possible colors, which is kind of cool. Right, spectrum. Oh, so these are the key takeaways. The spectrum doesn't, the LMS cube doesn't reach the corners because spectral overlap. It's a partial part of the cube. Takeaway number 2, RG primaries are defined relative to cone values. So really, it's a color space of lights, but its basis is in the retina. It's a retinal color space. And also takeaway, the gamut doesn't fill up the whole thing. So I think I've got time for one little cool demo because I'm going to show you how this relates to what you will see on Wikipedia so you can put it all together. So if you've ever seen this picture, this is what you find on Wikipedia. It's like, oh, this is the sRGB gamut. It's this triangle inside this little flat thing. And you're like, what is this flat thing? I've never seen this before. And this seems like it's a 3D problem. How did they get it into 2D? And I will show you very quickly how they got it into 2D so that you could be confused. So what they've done is they've taken the cone that I've drawn, and they've drawn a triangle that connects at points 1, 1, 1. It's called a unit triangle. And they're like, okay, you see where this cone intersects this triangle? Let's just like slice that part of the triangle out and then use that triangle as just the 2D view, and everyone will understand that it's a 2D triangle projection onto the unit triangle. And then they're like, okay, here's what we'll do. To represent the gamut, we've got this big cube. Maybe if we just stab it through the triangle, and then we'll kind of just arrange it like this so you can look down, and everyone will realize they're looking down at the bottom end of the LMS gamut. And then if you look at it side to side, you will see that, in fact, they look pretty similar. So this is the chart, and this is the 3D proof. You're looking at you're looking from the other side actually, but the spectral cone carves out the shape that you see, and then the triangle, the gamut cube sort of pokes the triangle through. So if you're ever wondering what that is, it's that. So it's really great. All right, so the last 2 slides, this stuff has been known for a while. So here's an 1857 quote: colors corresponding to those parts of the triangle beyond this curve must be forever known to us. This is James Maxwell. He realized that there were color coordinates in the cone space that could never be seen because they couldn't be stimulated with real light. So there's these imaginary colors. This is an old idea. My favorite quote when I was making this slide is the observation from Riemann, another famous scientist, did Riemann sums, Riemann integrals. He notes that it's pretty amazing that colors follow all of these amazing geometries, and that colors and objects in 3D space are probably the only 2 things familiar to us that follow such geometric rules and that work in such an elegant way. And he brought that up 150 years ago, which I thought was pretty cool. So I think I'm done. So thanks.
I don't know. I mean, you said you're done, but I have a feeling that you're going to keep going.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you just scratched the surface. This is good stuff. And one of the things I thought was really interesting is you mentioned that in terms of visible light, like what our eyes can see, that's from about 400 to 750 nanometers, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I had never really had any reference to that other than like the little laser diodes that I burnt my retinas out with as a kid. But like, I did some math. And you know, like 400 to 750, that's just in denary numbers, right? It's actually 190 to 2 EE nanometers in hex, which as we know is a superior number system. So
way superior.
right. Yeah.
I'll change that up.
Yeah. So if you give